Two children saw the same pile of scrap at the exact same moment. Only one of them was going home with anything that night. This wasn't a game. In towns across America during the Great Depression, a single sighting of usable metal could turn neighbors, cousins, even siblings into rivals within seconds. There was no rule that whoever found it first got to keep it. There was only speed. By 1932, this race was happening in nearly every farming town in the country, often multiple times before breakfast. Word of a collapsed barn spread faster than any newspaper. Parents rarely intervened. There wasn't time, and there wasn't food to justify losing. But speed alone rarely decided who won. Something else did. Something no child could see coming until it was already too late. You'd assume the fastest runner always won. He didn't, not most of the time. The real advantage belonged to whoever knew the ground before the race even started. Some children mapped every fence line and collapsed shed in a 5-mile radius weeks in advance, walking routes on quiet afternoons when nobody else bothered looking. They weren't hunting for scrap yet. They were memorizing shortcuts, gaps in barbed wire, places where a creek could be crossed without slowing down. That knowledge stayed hidden until the moment it mattered. Then it decided everything in seconds. A storm changed the map overnight. Wind tore roofs loose, collapsed old barns, exposed metal that had been buried for years. The children who understood weather patterns weren't guessing where to run. They already knew, sometimes before the storm had even finished passing through town. But mapping alone stopped being enough once other families started doing the same thing. By 1933, entire households turned scouting into a trade. Older siblings taught younger ones which farms flooded first, which roofs sagged before they gave way. Families began trading information the way others traded flour, one tip for another, sealed with a whispered promise. A network formed that nobody named, nobody wrote down, nobody organized. It simply existed, passed mouth to mouth between children who understood the stakes better than any adult around them. Then something broke the entire system apart. Older boys realized the younger scouts were doing all the work for them. They waited near the fastest routes, let smaller children lead them straight to the find, then simply took it. All that preparation meant nothing if you could still be outrun at the finish by someone twice your size. So the younger scouts adapted again. They started spreading false tips on purpose, sending the older boys toward empty fields while the real find waited somewhere else entirely. A whole layer of misdirection grew underneath the original system. Tips within tips, some true, some planted deliberately to protect a real discovery. Certain children became known for information nobody could fully trust, and that uncertainty itself became a kind of protection. None of this was about metal anymore. It had become a quiet war of nerve and deception between children who had never been taught how to fight one, only how to survive it. A girl named Ruth, 9 years old, kept a small notebook hidden inside her mattress, filled with roots only she and her younger brother knew. She never told her older cousins where it was. She said later that notebook mattered more than any scrap she ever carried home. We like to think competition today is cleaner, more honest, decided by talent instead of tricks. But ask yourself when you last withheld information from a coworker, a rival, even a friend, just to protect an advantage nobody forced you to protect. The scrapyard is gone. The empty fields are gone. But the instinct Ruth carried in that notebook never really left. It just moved into boardrooms, group chats, quiet decisions about who gets told what and when. Ruth kept that notebook for the rest of her life, long after there was nothing left worth hiding in it. Her grandchildren found it decades later, tucked inside an old trunk, the roots faded but still legible. Nobody in the family ever figured out why she kept protecting directions to fields that no longer existed. Maybe she wasn't protecting the roots at all.